everyone. Welcome to Go Watch a Movie, episode 88. I'm Kelvin. Before we say anything, I just want to say that I love Marvel and I love Disney. But with that being said, today we're doing X-Men Dark Phoenix. But before we get to that, a little bit of entertainment news. So normally I would be reading these off of my website, the Go Watch a Movie website, but we're switching hosts right now because I was using a hosting site that I will not name, and I broke them because they didn't have the tools to do what I was trying to do, which is a basic website. But apparently it was too complicated for their little website. You live and you learn. And then they refused to help me fix it. But whatever. That's being transferred over to a good website, and I can already see it on the background, and it's faster, it moves smoother, so it's going to be better all around. But yeah, normally I would read the movie news off of there. But today I got it elsewhere on the internet. First off, Men in Black International. Already getting very low Rotten Tomato scores. Oh. Yeah, it has the franchise's lowest, and which makes me sad because I'm actually looking forward to this one. Yeah, I don't know, man. Are you looking forward to this one?
Not really.
No,
not really. I'm not a huge Men in Black fan. I thought the first one was decent, but outside of that, I was just like, I could feel like it's just like repetition or something, or just milking the cow. But I will say, I mean, it was a Will Smith movie, and I think he did good. I mean, he always did good, fun action, adventure, comedy, whatever you want to call that genre that he does. So yeah, I don't know. This one just seemed kind of like, like squeezing that last drop. You know what I mean? Before you can really shut her down.
See, to me, it seems like like they wanted a fresh new take on it, where both are, I don't know.
Which completely makes sense. I mean, times are changing. It's not all about dudes. Mm-hmm. So I mean that makes sense, but at the same time, I don't know. They could have done another story with a similar feel and not have it be Men in Black.
Sure. Moving on, Oblivion Song. This is a Robert Kirkman comic book. Robert Kirkman, of course, the guy who created The Walking Dead. He has a comic book called Oblivion Song. A crack in the universe kind of creates a alternate dimension where humans get trapped in there, and this guy but he chooses to go in and save as many humans as he can, because it's full of like bad beasties and radiation and all that stuff. Pretty cool concept. The comic book, I've read first couple of issues. It is becoming a movie, so I would imagine the success of The Walking Dead, people, of course, are going to just throw money at most of his creations. Mm-hmm. So, sound like something you're interested in?
I mean, yeah, that plot sounds great to me. I mean, I'd definitely watch it. Even if it doesn't turn out great, it's still right up my alley.
Let me pull up the actual here, because I kind of stammered through that. Set a decade after 300,000 citizens of Philadelphia suddenly vanish into an apocalyptic alternate dimension populated with mutant monsters. Oblivion Song follows Nathan Cole, a scientist who invents technology allowing interdimensional travel. After the government has long given up attempting to rescue citizens of Oblivion, Nathan makes daily trips into the hellish dimension to try and save any remaining survivors. So yeah, kind of what I said, but much better.
Mm-hmm. You did fine.
But yeah, like the comic book, I instantly picked it up not because I was a big fan of Walking Dead, but that premise sounds just fantastic. And yeah, it's pretty good because I love his writing as well. He's very bleak. Mm-hmm. So yeah, looking forward to that. Lastly, Quentin Tarantino. I've been talking about him the last few episodes. His Star Trek movie is going to be rated R and full of profanity. Who would have thought?
Like alien profanity, I wonder?
I'm not sure.
Put the words at the bottom of the screen. Like, really? Did he just say that?
I didn't even know that it was official, but apparently it's official and it's going to be rated R.
Is he going to be in it? Because I feel like him.
I hope he doesn't do that.
It would be kind of a alien. Like, I don't know. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it because I really want to see him do this style of movie, kind of branch out from his normalness and see if he can translate to something different. But we'll see.
If nothing else, it'll be a breath of fresh air, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Even though I'm loving this current Star Trek run of movies, I really enjoy. Even though people did not like the last one.
I thought the new ones were pretty good. I mean, I'm not, like, I am a Star Trek fan, but just not like old school Star Trek. So I guess some real fans will be like, "You're not really a Star Trek fan. I just like the old stuff." Sorry, I started with Next Generation. That's my jam on from there. But yeah, I like the newer stuff.
Which will bring us to trailers. You first or me, sir?
Go right ahead.
Well, mine's a little abnormal because it should probably be going to theaters, but for some reason, with the star power that it has, it's not. I'm doing Escape Plan 3, The X Factors. So this is starring Sylvester Stallone, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and Dave Bautista, all A-list celebrities. But yet, maybe it's because the last one didn't do so hot. I don't know.
I don't even remember the last one.
The last one introduced Bautista, and it was like this not ever changing, but this they were like out on an ocean oil rig type deal. But yeah, I liked it though. Like, and then the first one, of course, had him and Arnold together. And
yeah, I remember that.
But I love the premise of this. This guy who's made a job of escaping from quote unquote unescapable prisons, and he gets in there and escapes, and then all of a sudden someone always seems to want to trap him in there. What?
Sorry, I just thought. So the guy's job is to break out of it, like these places that you can't break out of. Yes. But when the guy goes to kidnap his woman, he goes to a place basically designed for him and his job skills.
In this, in the newest one?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
I just watched this trailer actually today, so I am familiar with it. And it just seemed to me, I'm sorry to knock on your trailer.
No, please.
But it seemed like this is going to be a great bad movie.
Yes.
Like, so
that's what I was. That's where I'm assuming he funded this himself because everyone else is like, nah, we're going to pass. And he's just like, all right, then I'll make it and put it straight on streaming and DVD, It
does have some cool looking action scenes, a couple good fights. But, I mean, some of the action scenes, didn't you think it seemed a little off? Like,
it seemed very campy, and even some of the CG gunshots seemed like off. So I'm fully agreeing with you. This is going to be one of those bad movies that's fun to watch.
Yes.
But it blew my mind even with because of who it is. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's going straight to, Anyway, that's mine.
All right. On a different note, mine's is a little bit more serious. And again, it's a little bit off of my normal path. It's called After the Wedding.
Is this a rom-com?
No, it's not. This is basically, it has I forgot her name. I think Michelle Williams. Great actress. She is in India working with kids. I forget if she has an orphanage or what it is, but she gets this note or message saying, this corporation or this woman wants to give her a bunch of money to continue doing what she's doing. So she goes back to the States to visit this woman. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to give you all this money. I want to do all this stuff. But you know what? I can't thank you right now because my daughter's getting married. Why don't you just come to the wedding and we'll get to know each other more before I, decide to give you all this money. So she's like, okay. So she goes to the wedding and she's sitting there in the audience and she looks up and she sees the husband of the woman who wants to give her all the money and she recognizes him from somewhere. And then the rest of the trailer is just basically you discovering that they know each other somehow, but they won't tell you how. It's like some big secret. It actually the reason why I like this trailer is it kind of reminded me of a movie I watched not too long ago called Una. And it has basically, hopefully I pronounced that right, UNA, and it has basically the similar premise. Just a woman goes up to this guy who she used to know when she was a girl, and you find out their past and how jacked up it was. So this kind of seems somehow, similar. I doubt it's the same thing because I would just be making the same movie again. Yeah. With, slightly different, whatever. And I guess it's also based off of a foreign film. I guess there's a foreign film version of this as well that I've never seen. So this looks fresh and new to me. And like I said, it reminds me of that other movie, and I really like that one. So that's my pick.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. Sounds interesting. Mm-hmm. And like a breath of fresh air from what we've been seeing. So
yes.
Escape Plan 3. That will bring us to X-Men Dark Phoenix. Watch about if you wouldn't mind.
This is the story of one of the X-Men's most beloved characters, Jean Grey, as she evolves into the iconic Dark Phoenix. During a life-threatening rescue mission in space, Jean is hit by a cosmic force that transforms her into one of the most powerful mutants of all. Wrestling with this increasingly unstable power as well as her own personal demons, Jean spirals out of control, tearing the X-Men family apart and threatening to destroy the very fabric of our planet. The film is the most intense and emotional X-Men movie ever made. It is the culmination of 20 years of X-Men movies, as the family of mutants that we've come to know and love must face their most devastating enemy yet, one of their own. You have seen X-Men. It stars all of those people again.
Thank you, Watchbot. So where do I start? Where do we start with this one, sir?
At the beginning.
So they tried this storyline before.
Yes,
X-Men Last Stand, and did not go so well for the fine folks over at Fox, now Fox Disney.
And why do you think that is? You think it's because they changed the story so much?
I think, it was just such changes to the story, killing people who don't need, like the exploded Cyclops in the first couple minutes, then Xavier, and mm-hmm. Everybody was just dying left, right in that one. And then, like I have bitched about before on this podcast, the changing of the Dark Phoenix, it all of a sudden was an inherent power in Jean, like that really made no sense, but. This one did that part right.
Yes.
The Phoenix is a space entity, a very powerful space entity looking for a host.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember. They never tested that ship before to go into space, did they? Because what's that?
Never. They did not.
Yeah, okay. But it worked flawlessly, I guess.
Let's start there. You're right. Their space logic in this movie is shit. So the X-Men don't need to breathe, don't need any spacesuits. They're just because they're mutants.
Nightcrawler had a spacesuit put together by Quicksilver with duct tape.
His hands were still exposed. He was like, what the fuck was going on here? Jean, I got. Maybe she made a protective bubble around herself. Yes. That was fine. But when Quicksilver and Nightcrawler both went over there, and they're all and then Nightcrawler even teleported into space to retrieve her body. It just made no sense to me. Like their movement, and then So NASA launches a ship, and things go wrong, and the ship explodes. NASA is using a old school normal spacecraft, and as you pointed out, the X-Men have the Blackbird?
Yeah, just a retrofitted Blackbird, I guess.
Yeah, and it just launches into space. The government is going to be like, we can barely get these things full of gas off the ground. Can we get some of that tech? What's going on? But so yeah, from the start, I was like, "What is going on? Like, I don't get what's happening here. Like, why aren't the X-Men using suits of some kind?" And I get it; only a couple of them left the ship, but I don't know, man. Like,
they just didn't start off on a good note, even though some of the special effects were kind of cool looking.
Yeah, and I'm always happy to see Quicksilver. I repeat, I'm always happy to see Quicksilver do stuff in a movie. After the last showing, Quicksilver is pretty awesome, and you want to use that character to the fullest because he's such a fan favorite. And anyway, this giant entity, the Phoenix, gets inside of Jean and blows up, and she absorbs it all. And Nightcrawler, with his duct taped helmet, goes out there and brings her on board. Not after Cyclops, of course, is upset. He's mad because he thinks she's dead. And we skipped over. There's conflict between Mystique and Charles
Xavier. There always is, though. They're always kind of fighting
because she thinks he's just in it for the hype and the fame, and she wants to protect the kids, being one of the last two of the first class. That brings us.
I also don't think they really went into enough detail on what that mass was. They never really call it like the Phoenix Force, I don't think.
No. Cyclops makes a one-off saying, "You hear what they're calling you? They're calling Phoenix," which makes no sense.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere, and it just didn't make, because I don't know, it just didn't make sense. Like, they never explained that it was an entity that, it wasn't just some cloud of fire or whatever floating around in space. So I don't think they went into enough detail to explain that. Despite the fact that the movie is called Dark Phoenix.
On a couple of things, they didn't go through. But yeah, they land. Mystique's all pissed off. Very importantly, Beast takes Jean into the room and scans her body and says, "You're off the charts." And she's like, "What does that mean?" And it's like, "I don't know, but you're like, your powers is increased." And she's like, "I feel amazing." Right then and there. Let's point out that Charles Xavier and Jean are probably two of the smartest, most powerful mutants on the planet because of their abilities. Yet neither one of them are like, well, we should probably look deeper into this.
Right.
And then she explodes at a party because she loses control, and they're still like, meh.
They blamed it on the alcohol because she was drinking pretty heavily.
Yeah, it's all right. And then Charles can't even get into her mind. It's like, okay, let's stop here. Let's do something with this. But nope. I guess you got to let the movie move on. And she starts having. Is that when she starts having the flashbacks of her dad?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and
I just think it's funny that she absorbed a giant cloud of fiery something out in space, and no one's really concerned about that.
That's right. Why aren't that should be they should have her in quarantine. She shouldn't be allowed to go out to a party with other people.
Let alone drink that heavily.
Yeah, it's like we need to quarantine you. We're gonna do some testing. I get it. You feel fine, but
it's like, at this point in time, is she over 21? I just thought about that.
She may not be. I know Mystique and Beast are.
Yeah, no, the first class probably are, but they might still be like teens or so. I don't know what ages they're supposed to be. A lot of them still look really, really young. Like Nightcrawler looks really young. I think
Nightcrawler looks like a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they don't quarantine her. So she blacks out after exploding and almost killing Cyclops. And then we learn Charles's deep, dark secret that he locked something away in her. And I'm going to have to say, I think that was like overblown. Like, yeah.
You think he was wrong story-wise?
Wrong for doing it?
Yeah.
No. Because I think he should have told her she grew up, like, you know, but like at her age with that power, I think he was perfectly in the right, because we saw a glimpse of her power uncontrolled and angry just because she couldn't get the right music she wanted to pick, you know. Like, she kills her mom, we think kills her parents, you know, both her parents. And spoilers ahead, sorry guys, spoilers. But yeah, she kills her parents, flips the car just by thinking wrong. So imagine if like she found out her dad no longer wanted her at a young age. Like,
I feel like he should have known that she would eventually find out. It's almost like if you're adopted and you're like your parents never tell you or something, and you find out one day, you're like obviously gonna be pissed. So it's kind of the same thing. But I think she would have found out because of her power set. I mean, she could get in people's heads. So eventually, she's going to run into somebody who knows, and then get in, you know, find out that information. Or Charles himself, maybe she's going to surpass him and then get into his head and find out.
And like, yeah, she could have seen it in his head unless he locked it away in his own head as well, which he must have done. But yeah, like I still think, like I said, maybe he should have told her like as she got older and got more control over her powers. But I think he did the right thing at first of hiding it. But yeah, what about you? What do you think?
I think he did it on basically as a request from the dad. Yeah, but I think he did have his
want any fucking thing to do with.
I think he had his own motives as well. I think the dad didn't want anything to do with her because he killed his wife, obviously. But I think Charles also wanted, you know, that particular mutant for, you know, himself to train and teach and whatnot, because they had similar, you know, powers in some ways. So I don't know. I think it was a two-sided thing. I think he was somewhat corrupted by the thought of you know, basically having this army of people.
And I think like it's also he saw how much power she had, and that running rampant, knowing Magneto is out there at that time, you know, would not be good. Like,
I do think for all the movie's flaws, they did kind of paint the picture of him, you know, not necessarily having, even though he thinks he has the best intentions, they were
not always.
They weren't always in the right place.
Yeah. But she goes to her dad, dear old dad, and she reads his mind and sees what we just said. He's in the hospital, looked like in a insane asylum. Like it looked like he had a straitjacket on. He's like, I don't want her. She's dead to me. I can't handle her. And Charles is like, I'll take her, you know, or does he ask you? Either way, Charles ends up with her, and she, you know, actually she doesn't have a temper tantrum with that. Like she seems fine after finding out that truth from her father. Because the X-Men show up and the ground starts shaking and he's like, stop, Jean, stop. And she's like, it's not me. And she goes outside. And like that, but which is a major thing because when she does finally find it, well, when she hears it from Charles, she then loses it. But it's fine hearing it from her dad that he didn't want her. I don't understand. I don't know. And then the two greatest minds who can read minds go out and meet each other in a confrontation. And apparently she just refuses to read minds at that point. because why wouldn't you read the lady who's approaching you sounding all nice? Hey, I'm going to read her mind to see if she's actually telling the truth. But no, instead
I don't think he could get in there. I think he was too strong.
No, Charles could not, but she could have read all of their minds. You know, especially Mystique's, who was trying to get close to her, and then Mystique dies.
Yeah, I thought that happened not abruptly, but I felt like it was written in solely so that Jennifer Lawrence wouldn't have to be Raven anymore.
Yep, I was just going to point that out. She did not want to do that movie at all. I think she was just contractually obligated, and was pretty happy when you know. I don't know if she went in there like, fine, kill me then. But what also happens is we get one more glimpse of Nightcrawler Quicksilver doing the Quicksilver thing, and then he's blasted away and knocked unconscious for the best stuff of the movie.
I feel like they kind of stole that from the Justice League movie.
Yes,
like
the Flash.
Yeah, when the Flash was running around and Superman.
Which was my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah, which was awesome. But then they did it here. I don't think it had quite the same effect. It was, I don't know.
And yeah, and but then they took out Quicksilver, who, as I said, was a fan favorite. And at this point, I'm like, oh, he's fine. He'll get up and help out. He was no longer in the fucking movie.
Yeah, they take out a fan favorite and one of the biggest actresses in the movie, like right in the beginning.
What?
Like, not to say that James and Michael Fassbender aren't, great actors, but yeah, I think Jennifer Lawrence is probably more popular than the two of them.
That Quicksilver scene in that last movie was the last one where the mansion blows up and he goes in. Oh my god, dude! Are you kidding me?
Maybe it was a symptom of like they think, okay, he's so good. It's like Justice League. As soon as Superman gets there, it's over. You know, if Quicksilver is in the fray, I mean, is anyone else really going to have a chance?
But this is the other thing. This is Fox's last chance at wowing audiences with the X-Men franchise. This movie has gone through reshoots. This movie has gone through hell to get made. Reshoots, delays, actress stuff, blah, blah, blah. You better throw the kitchen sink at me. Like
yeah.
You know? But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Oh my goodness. What do you think of the acting in this one?
I think James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender do amazing jobs. They always do.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any flaw in their acting. Sophie Turner, I don't know. She played the Phoenix. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of her, but I don't think she was bad. I just don't think she brought anything like grand to the character. I felt like the character was kind of held back a little bit. Like maybe her range isn't that extreme. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
No, I've said that myself. Like, after seeing her in Game of Thrones, like that's kind of what I see now. And she doesn't try to stray far from that. You know?
But I don't think she's bad. I just think I don't think she showed enough maybe range in this. I don't know. And then the rest of them are like meh. I mean. I think
Beast did some nice.
He did do some good acting. I actually like Cody Smith. I think he does good work, but even I don't really think he had enough. He did kind of snap at the end, which was nice to see him kind of like almost go Wolverine and like rage, like that was cool.
And his ability eventually stops. Is that the storyline they're playing with? In these first class line of X-Men movies, I'm pretty sure like he's like eventually at one point in one of the movies, like eventually I won't be able to turn back or something like that, which I think they hint at with him walking in as Professor Beast or whatever. But yeah, everyone else is kind of Cyclops is fine. Ready Player One kid. Then she goes to Magneto, only to
have a wrestling match.
Yeah, which was a cool scene, but it's just like she.
I don't understand why Magneto thought he was going to go kill her after he just had that wrestling match with her, and it's obvious he was the only one straining and she wasn't.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm gonna go kill her now. Like,
he's very overconfident. But what's crazy is, well, I guess he was hit with rage because of Raven's death. But what's crazy is right after that wrestling match, she just like flicks him into trash and stuff, and then he gets up and she's like, I need your help. She seems so confused, and it's like, bitch, read minds. Do use some kind of mental something or other. Because, like, well, you should not be this confused. And I was hoping the trailers led me to believe that the chick from The Girl in the Spider's Web, the blonde lady, was like the Phoenix embodiment talking to her. That would have been great. But that was not the case.
Yeah, I wasn't for sure who that was. I thought it was supposed to be like from the trailer, like Emma Frost or something. Like I didn't know.
I thought it was like the embodiment, because like in the trailers, it like showed her saying, "I can help you with this power. You don't know who I am, and you don't know who you are." Like I thought that would have been her inner Phoenix monologue, but sadly, it was some unexplained aliens that we never know much about.
Yeah, I know. I remember they flashed the name of them like across for a second, but then after that, I think so. Because it was like not like the Shi'ar, it was like something else, like DR or something like that. So
they just show up and twist people's intestines until they die. It was strange. I mean, I kind of understand why they put the aliens in there, because in like the graphic novel Dark Phoenix, there's some aliens. So, I mean, that part made sense to me, but I was like, I didn't like really how they didn't, like, for a movie, and for people who don't know that graphic novel, they're just things that show up and blah. Yeah, you don't know what they are.
They were strong though. I mean, they're like, each one was like a little individual Terminator.
I just wish I knew more about them. And then she's like, so the Dark Phoenix, the Phoenix entity, tears through their planet and is looking for a host. And apparently this chick can hold the Phoenix power, but it just goes past her and goes find Jean. Like what? Like, I don't understand. I
didn't know how Jean was transferring the Phoenix power over to the other person.
A hug.
If they weren't like somehow like she didn't have that ability.
Yeah, it's
ability, like I don't know how that was supposed to work.
I don't understand.
And I also don't understand why this alien race who has already infiltrated, mankind hasn't already taken over as strong as they were.
Yeah, unless they only just showed up when the Phoenix got there, I guess. I don't know.
No, that lady did. She just showed up, but there was already people there.
Oh, there were already others.
Yeah, there was already other ones there. She met up with the ones who had already integrated.
You're right. Yeah, because the FBI agent, black guy. Yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah, why hadn't they?
Which kind of made it feel like we were watching Captain Marvel again, because they were, you know what I mean? It's like,
basically, because the Phoenix was as strong as fucking Captain Marvel, like basically unstoppable. Oh, man. But you know what made this movie all worthwhile for me?
What's that?
The train scene.
It was very good.
God damn it. Seeing the full potential of Magneto and Nightcrawler. Ever since X-Men 2 of the original X-Men movies, I've been saying, because the whole White House heist with, Nightcrawler.
That was insanely epic.
If you give Nightcrawler a knife, 2 knives, holy shit, get out of his way. Yep. And he proved that again in this movie. God damn, when he got pissed, and then put her in front of the train. I giggled with glee. And then, of course, Magneto. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he showed some imagination in his fighting style.
Yes, his tail, and it was fantastic. And then Magneto, of course, we know can fight, but seeing him in action as well is just it's a symphony of chaos. Like the way he uses metal and the whole crushing them like sardines as they come running back on the train. One thing that did piss me off, and I think this was before this scene. Yeah. The Magneto's little psychic chick. How strong is she to where she was holding off Professor X?
Apparently pretty strong.
Like, we've seen him stop entire cities. You're telling me this chick can match his power?
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, that train scene. I was like, okay, I guess I'll overlook the rest of this bullshit.
Yeah, the fights and the action was fine. There was nothing wrong with any of that.
Yeah.
I think it just like was pieced together, kind of haphazardly, and it's just the story was milked, but like not didn't solidify. And I don't know. It definitely, I don't know what they used from the source material, but it just didn't feel like it was what it should have been.
Like, yeah, especially how long it took and all the crap that this movie went through to get made.
It's supposed to be Dark Phoenix. That's like one of the biggest stories for the X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah. They took it and they made it like if the X-Men was like an episode on TV, it felt like a TV episode or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
And then we got the bullshit ending of like that whole thing where she's like, "You want my power?" And then the lady's like, "If you do this, then you'll kill your friends." And everybody else is fine, like away, but Cyclops is standing next to her. Ow! 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 Like, back the fuck up, you blind bastard! What's wrong with you? But she flies in the air, Superman style, and explodes her. And then we get a fucking narration of "I became something more" and whatever the fuck.
And then you see her later, like over whatever city Charles and his buddy are hanging out in, about to play some chess, and she just flies overhead. And it's the end. Okay.
So, and apparently Charles quits and gives the school to Beast, and he
and again, I think they're stealing from other movies because that felt like Batman.
Yep,
the last Batman movies, like he's out in some.
Alfred gives him the wink.
Yeah, it felt just like that. I'm like, what are they doing? They just stealing moments from other superhero movies and pasting them in this one.
Like, do you really think Charles would just give up like that?
No.
I don't either.
And if he didn't want to be found, he wouldn't be found because he could manipulate people's minds. He would just go.
Yeah, he could look like someone else, or
it's ridiculous. And I can't believe that Magneto was going to try to challenge him to chess and not wear his helmet.
Yeah, there ain't no way. You ain't winning that one, Magnus. Oh man, I did love the scene in the mansion where she makes Charles walk like a little marionette.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty sweet.
I was like, I hope they're not going to make the same mistake again, because it looked like she was going to blow him up like they did in the last.
Yeah.
But they did not, thank goodness. But yeah, overall, sir, go watch or not for you.
Unfortunately,
think about this. Hold on. End of a saga.
Yep.
This is the last X-Men movie we will have for a while, unless you count probably a Deadpool here or there.
Right.
Go ahead. What do you think?
I say it's not worth going to the movie theaters. So no, not watch. I mean, sure, it'll probably pop up on a Hulu or Netflix one day, or you can rent it or whatever.
Plus or whatever.
Watch it then, but I mean, I don't run to the theaters to see it because it's gonna kind of let you down.
Yeah. It has in fact gotten the lowest Rotten Tomato score of all the X-Men movies that are out, which is saying something.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to agree. This is not one that, and I was looking forward to this. I was like, oh, they're going to go out with a bang. This is going to be amazing. They wowed me with some effects and some fight scenes, but overall, yeah, no. This is not one that I would say go watch in a theater. And I very much love that First Class line.
The first one was great.
Yeah. And then Days of Future's Past was decent. They fixed the storylines of the old ones. Mm-hmm. And then I guess Apocalypse was meh.
Man, that's definitely right.
But I thought they would go out with a bang, but no, they did not. Yeah, so there's that. I'm
looking forward to a reboot, though.
Yes, yeah, I think Marvel Disney will do it right, and hopefully, like I said, they and the Wolverine-less, I did not miss him. I did not miss him. He was not one of, so that gives me hope that they don't need to shove him in the forefront of the next set of movies. It was funny that the director got asked why Wolverine wasn't in this, he said, besides the obvious point, the age difference. He's like, I thought it would be creepy to have Hugh Jackman trying to romance Sophie Turner because that storyline is heavy in the Dark Phoenix, that Cyclops Wolverine Jean love affair. So good on you, sir. The way you can find us at right now, anywhere a podcast can be played. The website should be back up by the end of the week, I'm hoping. That transfer is going through right now. Anywhere a podcast can be played, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Give us some likes and follows on there. We love that. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
Go watch a movie. Snick, snick, slow. That's my Wolverine.